a larger dose, save value, and then also if you happen to catch trends, less plastic, that's a pretty big win too. So just the easy answer is to just do what nobody else is willing to do.
Welcome to the How to Scale Commercial Real Estate Show. Whether you are an active or passive investor, we'll teach you how to scale your real estate investing business into something big.
Ziad Burkett is the founder of Midwest Juicery. His mission is to help you enjoy being healthier. Ziad, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, the pleasure's mine. Ziad, there are 3 questions I ask every guest who comes on the show. In 90 seconds or less, can you tell me, where did you start? Where are you now? And how did you get there?
I started Midwest Juicery in 2016. What was the second question?
Where'd you start? Where are you now? I can't remember. I've only done this like 750 times. Where'd you start? Where are you now? And how'd you get there?
So started Toledo, Ohio, cold press juice company. Where am I now? We have scaled very slowly, but thankfully to a pretty good reach to sell our juice around the Midwest and in the South. I reside normally in San Juan. I'm in Toledo, Ohio right now. And how did I get here? Oh, persistence. That's my like number one personality trait. People tell me all the time, like, you're really persistent. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't have a business. I mean, it's really hard to get people to answer emails, whether they're customers or suppliers. And you just got to keep hounding people until you get what you want. If you let other people's laziness dictate your success, you're not going to get very far.
Man, that's it. Well, wiser words have never been spoken. And for those of you who are listening to the show today, this is a little bit of a different episode. I know we always talk real estate on this podcast, but Ziad is a personal friend, and I think he scaled a really cool company. And so I think it's fun to share kind of the insights from other business owners on how they've gone out and grown their companies. So if you're listening to this going, a juicery, what's that got to do with real estate? The answer is absolutely nothing, except Ziad giving the insights that he just shared has everything to do with scaling your real estate business. So Ziad, I'm looking forward to jumping in today. Give us the background on Midwest Juicery. What inspired it?
What inspired it was I made a personal change in my diet a long time ago. I lost track. And I wasn't one of those people that had a health problem. I just figured I should stop eating like crap. And I tried a lifestyle diet that just changed my life. I mean, I felt amazing physical improvements, like never foggy after a meal, and just loved it. And I, try to tell people like, yo, you should try this, change your life kind of thing. Nobody's gonna change your life. People, unless they want to change their life, they're not going to get convinced. So what I came to realize was they're not going to change everything, but maybe they can make slight improvements. So I thought, how can I help people make slight improvements? I'm the INFJ of the 16 personalities, which is the advocate. So I'm everyone's like cheerleader. They come to me and I'm like excited to figure out how to help them eat healthier breakfast or whatever, cut out sugar or eat more, I don't know, kale, whatever they need, eat more lemons, whatever their situation is. So I just on my own was doing a lot of research on just nutrition and all that. And there really it seemed to me that there were 3 health problems in our country, at least 3 really big ones. Too much sugar, not enough vegetables, not enough nutrients, vegetables for the most part. And then too much inflammation in their diet caused by their diet and not enough anti-inflammatories in their diet. So I figured, how can I make something to do those? And the juice was the first way. That juice was an idea that came to mind because everything on the market is very, very sweet. Mm-hmm. Everyone promotes themselves as that. Everyone has the same pitch. I mean, there's no differentiation on every single company's mission statement. They make fresh juices with 100% fruits and vegetables, no added sugar, no water, no preservatives. Drink us. Like, that's everyone's pitch. It's like the old Duff beer commercial with Homer Simpson. It's like, Duff beer, just drink it. That's everyone's pitch. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but when you're charging $6, $7, $8, $9, $10 for a single serving premium drink that claims you're going to improve people's health, it better. And it doesn't, because they're just essentially flavored apple juice. Most juices have anywhere from 24 to 38 grams of sugar, no added sugar, but they're still organic and cold pressed and 100% fruits and vegetables, but there's this much kale and this much apples. Right. There we go, this much apples. So I decided to throw my hat in the ring to try to make juices that are really low in sugar because they're mostly vegetables and still taste good, because that would address 2 of those health problems: too much sugar, not enough vegetables. So that's how that came about. Fast forward a couple of years later, had an idea, which was this year to make the nation's first big bottle of shots, those little ginger shots that people love. They burn like hell. They're awesome. I drink them, but they are like $4 for the little bottle and they waste a lot of plastic. So I made a big bottle of shots, cuts the cost of shots down to $1 per shot, and it reduces plastic waste by 80%. So, us entrepreneurs are going to, do all the good stuff for the environment, not the politicians. And I figured this would be a great product. So now we have a full line of cold pressed juices and then shots that really help people enjoy being healthier. Hopefully, little changes they can make in their diet maybe will inspire them, or something else in their life will inspire them to make big changes. But some changes are better than no changes.
Absolutely. No, that's awesome. I love that. And this goes back to one of my I guess just themes in life, which I always say that health is wealth. Like for the people out there, because I've known some really wealthy people, monetarily speaking, but their health is garbage. And it's like, wow, you're out of shape, you're overweight, I guarantee your heart doctor sees you and goes, oh, buddy, like we got some work to do, don't we? And it's like health is wealth. And so without your health, you really don't have wealth. I don't care how much money you have. If you don't have, what good is life if you're unhealthy? So it's a big push, and in my own personal life. And so I love kind of your thought process there about solving problems in a way that people can easily just take, easily. And I don't want to say the word digest, but it's really true.
One of our value statements that I think you'll like is investing in your health pays dividends throughout your life.
Right. Absolutely.
Everywhere.
Tell me
everywhere.
Go ahead. Keep going.
No, I was saying just everywhere. I mean, just like you said, like it's everything. It's ability to work longer. Like if you're healthy, you can actually work a longer day, and not just longer per day, but like consistently longer over time. And then obviously, there's the joy of life of, playing with your kids or taking care of your parents as they get older, and, exercising in a fun way, playing sports or just picking up a heavy thing off the floor. I mean, it's practical. It's practical and it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's you hit on some things there that I think about quite a bit. Like you said, picking up something heavy off the floor, picking up the kids, or like, I mean, those are more functional fitness things that we're talking about. I think they're, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna go lean over and pick up the kids. It's like, okay, well, that's what, when you practice your squats, when you do squats at the gym, things like that, that's a very functional move. Right. And so I love incorporating those things and then noticing it when you're doing, like, oh, this is something I do all the time. This is why this doesn't hurt when I do it.
Right.
It's something else I wrote in a newsletter a couple of weeks ago. I said, I don't think any of us can add 1 second to our life, but then I put in parentheses, I'm like, but maybe that point could be argued in some regards. Like maybe you can't tell me the exact time in an hour that you're going to, exit this earth. But I certainly think that you might be able to extend that a little bit just by taking care of your health. I mean, who knows what that, you can't quantify it necessarily, but certainly that's a possibility. Tell me about your mission statement and finding a way to be different. I know you picked up on some easy things there where you looked out in the marketplace, you said, hey, lots of sugar, no nutrients. Like you said, flavored, it's apple juice with a little bit of kale mixed into it and sold for $10 a whack. What else can people be doing as they think about their business, as they look across the business landscape and they go, okay, everybody seems to be doing the same thing. What are some key ways that we can find differentiators in our business?
The easy thing is to listen to your customers, or at least just listen to people. See what is common as a problem to solve. You and I like our econ, and what is uneasy about their life. What could be better. There's always little things in our life that could be just a little bit better. I mean, nothing is perfect, so everything can always be a little bit better. And then you just find what's common as a problem that people have. I was pretty fortunate that I came across some blogs a long time ago, like pre the sugar rush and pre. I mean, there's blogs. I'm just lucky, honestly. I don't know how I stumbled on these things, but I mean, I was reading about the keto diet, 8 years ago, and everyone watching their omega-3 to omega-6 ratio a long time ago. So it's really just, educating yourself, of course, and there's always going to be the trendier, sometimes they're wackier people, but they're people that are ahead of the curve, and sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong, and you see what they're saying about whatever your market is going to be, and then you have to watch your customer. One of my mentors and advisors for the company is Hunter Hastings, who is associated with the Mises Institute. And I think the phrase he told me about customers was I think it was active listening is when you launch a product or are looking to do something. I mean, just ask your customers, what do they want? For us, it was customers were always saying, hey, we want shots, especially during COVID. They wanted something that was going to help their immune system. And my personal business value is if I can't make something better or cheaper, I'm not going to make it. So I couldn't make shots for the same price. Our supply chain and operation and production model didn't allow for it. But then it dawned on me, I'm like, but I can make something different, which is a big bottle of shots. So you give customers, it's the old Steve Jobs thing. It's you're giving customers what they want when they don't even know it. Well, what you're giving them is a larger dose, save value, and then also if you happen to catch trends, less plastic, that's a pretty big win too. So just the easy answer is to just do what nobody else is willing to do.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's talk about scaling your company. I mean, what's it been like saying, okay, I got this idea and then turning it into an actual functioning business?
It's going to be overwhelming. So one thing at a time. I'm a planner and I'm an overanalyzer, and I've come to realize that you just drown there. So make a list and break them into as small bite sizes as possible and fix the problem and go on to the next one. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Martian with Matt Damon. It's a really good movie actually, where he gets stranded on Mars and all that. And I love that movie, for the comedic side of it. But the one thing when he was at the end of the movie, he was teaching a class at, I don't know, Harvard or wherever it was. And they asked him, how did he get through it? And he said, well, I had all these problems in front of me and I got a problem and I solved it. And you move on to the next one. And then you move on to the next one. And then you move on to the next one. And then maybe you'll be lucky enough to survive. And that's a perfect phrase that works for business too, because people say this all the time. If you talk to people that work in, big corporate companies, they always say people at the top have no idea what they're doing. Well, it's true. Nobody has any idea what they're doing in terms of like this grand project and grand solution. I mean, they have an idea, but you can only control a short period of your time. There's a good TED Talks, and I forgot what it's called. I think it's like how to do anything, or I don't know. I forgot the name of it, but the guy would just do these massive projects that seem unfathomable. But his thought process is always, what can you do with your next 15 minutes? So no matter what you're trying to do, whether you're trying to start something new or change, my thought process is, what can I do in these next 15 minutes? And how many times can I do that in a row?
Right. I love that, man. That's great. I love that's like time blocking to a very, very small, that's like lawyer time blocking there, 15 minutes. I like the thought process behind that. Have you had to bring, go ahead.
I would say there's a blog called Wait But Why. It's a really good blog. And he has an article called 100 Blocks a Day. And it's like, I think it's 100 blocks is 8 hours of 10-minute blocks. And they encourage you, like, for a couple days, like, write what you do every 10 minutes. And then you can see how much time you waste and then how much time you're not allocating to things that matter, and then kind of adjust accordingly. I only did it once, but it really helped you kind of just remember, like, what can I do in these next 10 minutes?
Right. And it probably also helps you stay on track. I mean, that's the other thing, is that I find so often in my day, especially like on a day like today, which I didn't have, they're my ideal days because they're the days when I actually get stuff done, but I didn't have like back-to-back meetings today. And it was like, oh, okay. Hey, you know what? I can start working on this, but then all of a sudden there's like, oh, and that needs done and that needs done and that needs done. And the next thing I know, I'm like, wait, like I've got to finish this one simple thing. Like you said, what can I do in 15 minutes and say, this is done. And now look at the next one. So solve problems one at a time. That's yeah, for somebody like me that extremely struggles with focus. It's like
same. Oh, and I mean, I am the king of procrastination. I will tell you, there are things that have been on my to-do list for like 6 months. But what's crazy is sometimes, they're daunting and they're scary, but sometimes they're not. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had something on my to-do list for like 3 months and I do it. And it's like a 10-minute project. And I'm like,
right.
I thought about that for a good 3 hours of my life and it took me 10 minutes. And it wasn't a productive 3 hours. It was a very anxiety-provoking 3 hours. But just think about the next 10 minutes. What can you do for 10 minutes? Yesterday, I had like 5 things on my to-do list and it was like 4:00. I'm traveling. I'm not even home. So I'm chilling with family. And I was like, let me just get on this computer. And I literally knocked off all 3 things in 20 minutes. They took no time, but you just got to push yourself a little bit when you don't want to, because that's when you're proud of yourself. Honestly, at least I am.
Right. Absolutely. Talk to me about bringing a product to market and customer acquisition.
Oh man. So bringing a product to market, I am a left brain human being. So for me, I want to make sure I'm checking all of the boxes, especially on the operational side and then the sales side. I have a brain that is purely left brain, but I'm Arab, so I can sell. So when I made a product, it was all right. What's the cost going to be? What's the cost of raw materials? Like for me, what's the cost of the ingredients? What's the cost of the bottle? What's the cost of the labor? There's a lot of freight involved, and then try to document all of that so you get an idea of your costs, and then create a process to sustainably do that regularly. And then and then afterwards it's obviously the sales side, so figure out what your value proposition is going to be, which you probably have figured out already, the end consumer, but you also have to figure out what matters to the person that's actually buying your product, and in that case it's a grocery store. So that buyer, what matters to him? And that really helped a lot because unfortunately their interests sometimes don't necessarily align with what the end consumer, they don't conflict, but it's not a priority. So you have to figure out what also matters to each person along the supply chain and make them happy. And then obviously a marketing plan is essential, especially if you have a consumer product. It is not my strong suit, and it's certainly something that we continue to try to get better at. But depending on your industry, I mean, a lot the bringing a product to market greatly varies depending on your industry. But in my case, because I have a consumer product, making sure you have fun marketing that's going to inspire the emotion a customer wants to buy a product. I mean, we all, buy on emotion and justify with logic, but why do people want your product? And make sure that they know that this is the product that solves that problem.
Right. Ziad, that's absolutely awesome. I love the insights you've given us in growing a business, on what it's like to see a need in the market, figure out how to fill it, how to creatively solve the plastic problem, how to creatively solve. I can't compete. I loved when you told me you can't compete on the shots, but yet you can compete with it, differentiate yourself with a new product altogether. And then you can bring it to market for a much lower price, which is, again, a win for the consumer and a win for you. Anything else you want to share to us along the scaling journey that you can think about that you would say, man, this is a helpful pointer, a helpful mindset shift, something that you have really implemented in your business and life that you think other people should hear?
Persistence. It's really, to me, it's everything. It's enduring when it sucks. I mean, in my industry, I've partially been fortunate because I have been so focused on building a sustainable company, both like operationally and then on the finance side. And then sometimes it's just surviving your competition. I mean, in my industry, I mean, since the beginning of 2020, I mean, there's been 4 or 5 juice companies that have gone out of business, and that just opened doors because I have survived longer than them. So to some degree, how can you survive your industry? And it varies substantially. In tech it's something, and in real estate it's something, and in my side, the industry is very like sell, 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 sell. Nothing else matters. All private equity, all investors, all everybody wants to see is sales, 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 sales. Well, anybody can say that, but the bank is eventually going to stop giving you money, and your investors are eventually going to stop giving you money if they keep losing and losing. So I'm a big believer in building a profitable, sustainable company from day one, and then depending on your industry, just surviving until your competition can fall off.
Absolutely fantastic, Ziad. Thank you for taking the time to come on the show today. I do appreciate it. It was an absolute blast learning about your company, how you've grown it, and just your insight really into the just how that process of scaling a company occurs. So thanks again for coming on the show today. If our listeners want to get in touch with you, learn more about you, and or find your products, what are the best ways to do that?
MidwestJuicery.com. That's juicery.com. We got an Instagram, same thing, Midwest Juicery. Check our products out. They're not sweet, but they're so good for you, and I think you'll love them, and I think you'll see some improvements in your health. And hopefully, we can help you find joy in your health too.
Absolutely, and I can attest because Ziad was kind enough to ship, I think, a whole box of product to Elizabeth and me, and I can tell you that they were awesome. So thank you again, Ziad, for coming on the show today. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. Have a great one.
Cool, man. That's a wrap. Oh, see ya.
Welcome to the How to Scale Commercial Real Estate Show. Whether you are an active or passive investor, we'll teach you how to scale your real estate investing business into something big.